it is raising more of a stink this time, and also the specific way that you can tell the ownership. At least Mouse Slug Tactics, I think, was outsourced to .mu. So I want to say they even like published it. Like I don't think it was published by SNK. It was just like loaned out to them. So like Mouse Slug Tactics is like an interesting case, and I'm not quite sure where that would fall, but I'd have to double check on that. Sonic 2 is just the Yuna talks about really heavy topics game, apparently. I don't know how to feel about that. Yeah, like, people are trying to put it into perspective that Guilty Gear Strive came out July or August 2021. Its current player numbers are like only 500 to 1,000 behind Sea of the Wolves that just came out last week. Like, that's to put things into perspective of like just how bad this game is doing. And it's like, you know, there's the argument that could be made of, oh, what if everyone's just playing on console? It's like, that is true, because crossplay, people might just be playing on PS5 or Xbox. But it is a case of like, things aren't looking great for this game either way. That's a good question. I'd have to look up Tekken 8, because that'd be an interesting battle there. Like, if I'm eyeing any fighting game right now, it's Grand Blue Rising. Because I've heard really good things about it. I know there's a free-to-play version, but the character I'd want to play is not usually in rotation. So, yeah, I'd probably end up getting the full version at some point cheap, hopefully. Hey, if you see me falling down into a lot of pits in this level, I know what I'm doing. Please trust me. Because there's a secret in one of the pits in this stage. How if I know where? Yeah, SF6 is doing pretty good for itself. The main issue I have heard about SF6 is it's just kind of stale, because it's actually been more conservative with balance updates than like every other fighting game at the moment. Like, Season 4 of Strive definitely was very explosive, and there are definitely cases where it's like, they say one thing, but I feel like this change to the patch makes it feel like the design ethos that they're stating is at odds with what they actually did in the patch. I mean, that was like, take that problem and then multiply it by like 20, and then you get the Tekken 8 patch. This one. Yeah. If you fall down the pit of death in this level, that normally is just like a soft block, essentially, if you're supersonic. So it's rather notorious, but they actually put Hidden Palace behind that, which is really cool in my opinion. I mean, like, my bizarre take in a way is like, Akuma should be a little bit busted as a treat. Like, he's Akuma. Like, Akuma, Bison, like, those characters being broken, it's like, yeah, no, it's not fun to fight against them, but at least it's like, you know, lore accurate in a way. I genuinely need to give World Tour another chance. And just actually try to learn a Street Fighter. I mean, Alpha 3 Uppers on that collection, so maybe I'll give that a shot. So yeah, that's kind of my overall take on that, where it's like, SF6 took away his fragile health. Ooh, so he's not a glass cannon, he's just a cannon. Okay, that makes sense. There's no risk versus reward. That's kind of my issue with Dizzy at the moment, is like, I feel like she hits really hard, but doesn't really combo into much. Strive in general is like a weird game because its combo routes are very short. But deal a lot of damage, but it still kind of has the problem of like, well, might as well just go and make a sandwich, because I'm just gonna be comboed for like 10 minutes now. So it feels like I was trying to resolve a problem and didn't quite get there. Yeah, Akuma with a lot of health is horrifying. Nothing could possibly go wrong with that. But again, I think they were pretty fast on the ball with patching that. And SF6 has been very, like, yeah, chill with patches. They have not done anything too big, but with Elena, I think they said they were going to start doing major balance adjustments in their own words. So I'm really wondering what they mean by that. People are kind of like already predicting this will be like the Super Street Fighter era for SF6. So this boss is funny. You're supposed to use the mines to launch yourself up to Robotnik. You can just fly into him, like, as Tails. Like, you can just completely cheese this fight. Monster's just playing bad, so... There we go. Yeah, I hope Elena's broken, just for the sake of tradition. See, like, for me, Dizzy should be stronger in the game, but she's actually, like, bottom tier at the moment. She used to be top tier in, like, every game. Like, Accent Core, she's really high tier. XR Rev, she's really high tier. It's like, this is kind of unusual that Dizzy's, like, pretty close to the bottom, like, universally believed. Generally, the stuff I've seen is that Dizzy's normals are just not good, even though her specials are pretty decent. So, everyone keeps hoping for a patch, basically. That kind of improves some things for her. I enjoy playing as Dizzy, but I also have strong character bias, I fully admit. Venom is really cool, I just don't know how to micromanage, like, characters like that. You know, the other one is obviously, like, Chaco. But, like, trying to do, like, positioning for everything is just a lot for me to keep track of, so I tend to, like, not do set play characters, or not enjoy set play characters as much. I saw a video talking about Lars in Tekken 8. The patch gave him a move. They changed the move to be like plus 27 or something on like block, and it's like, what the hell are you doing, guys? Then with the emergency patch, it's down to like plus 9, which is like, why do they think like plus 27 was a good idea? I just don't understand the like reasoning behind that. Like, that's just absurd at a point. Season 2 of T7 did something almost exactly like it. Oh, I did not know that. Tekken 7 is such a fascinating game because the original arcade release was so bare bones. Like, it basically was just versus. And then later on, like, we got the console version, they just gradually started adding stuff onto it to the point where it's like one of the best Tekken games. If it wasn't for the kind of like wonky early rollback implementation. I actually don't know if it's rollback or not. Or if it's just like delay based, but also still not good. I know Tekken 8 has a version of rollback at least, which is, you know, better. Lars had the best 12-frame move in the game. They patched it quick. Yeah, just 12 frames. That somehow seems reasonable compared to this latest fiasco. But yeah, in general, I think with fighting games, my level of focus is struggling to the point where I like spent so much time learning Dizzy and Strive to the point where like, you know, I got 2 rounds in last time I picked it on Claire's stream, and like, you know, I got a round off of her, which was like, or a game off of her actually, and that was like a really good feeling in a way, because like, I know, you know, the previous time I threw down a gauntlet like that, I got absolutely obliterated. So like, it genuinely felt nice to be able to kind of hold my own a bit. Even if it was also partially because 1, she was mixing up inputs because she was playing Mortal Kombat, and 2, also had never fought Dizzy before in this game. So, I mean, I have some reasons of partially of how I probably did a little bit better. But it's a case of like, you know, trying to learn Dizzy, I think I have fundamentally gotten better at Strive. Same happened with Smash. Again, I've told this story like 5 times on stream already, but I didn't put much time and effort into Ultimate, or any Smash Bros for that matter, except Brawl, because it had the most single-player content. So, the biggest time the most I ever really dedicated to Smash, like, on a competitive level, would have been Pyre and Mythra's release. I spent a lot of time trying to learn them, like, legitimately get good with them. That's kind of my big problem with Smash, potentially getting a new game. One, I'm very happy, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even like... What am I trying to say? I'm very glad that Sakurai's not working on Smash right away, I'm not even gonna lie. Because I was not looking forward to Smash Discourse. I personally find the constant debating of what characters should make it in extremely frustrating. Ah, I forgot it fired twice, 3 times, okay. Fun. What happened? Did I just not mash enough? I think I looked away because I just got a ping. And I got distracted. Actually, does Injustice have a block button, now that I'm thinking about it? I don't think it does it? Like, is that just an MK thing, not even their other games? You don't think so? Yeah, I didn't think so either, and I'm like, huh, why just MK? Tradition, probably. But it's still kind of odd that Injustice doesn't. I don't really like Injustice that much, to be frank. I don't think it's bad, it's just not for me. I think I'm really into, like, anime fighters. I've been going for almost 3 hours. This is taking way longer. I'm afraid of how long Sonic 3 is gonna take at this rate. I mean, we're at Oil Ocean. Next up is... Ew. Next up is Metropolis Zone. Oh, joy. I actually might take a break, and finish Metropolis and the rest of the game after a short break, because, oof, this is a lot longer than I thought it would take. Again, that is one advantage of automatic ads, is to force me to actually, you know, stretch and everything. Be slightly more responsible. But yeah, I'm gonna take a short break, and that should be good. So all that's left is Metropolis, Wing Fortress, and I guess is Sky Chase this game, or am I confusing it with Sonic Adventure? Is that also Sky Chase? I don't remember. Either way, Sky Chase, gotcha. But with Tails, this shouldn't be too bad, which is part of the reason I like playing as Tails, because playing as Sonic is like, you know, Super Sonic is like the equalizer, but I don't like playing Super Sonic in platforming stages because you go so fast, you can't really maintain control. So, fun story, I don't hate Metropolis Zone. I actually, maybe it's because I've always played versions not on actual hardware, but I've like never found this as bad. I think it's partly because I never finished this game as a kid, so I had always just heard the horror stories of, oh, Metropolis is so bad, to the point where, like, finally getting through it, it's like, yeah, it's difficult. It's definitely very cheap at times, but it almost felt like oversold because of just all the stuff I had been hearing about it for like years and years. So it is one of those things that almost got like oversold on its difficulty. It's kind of funny, sometimes it happens where it's like, oh wow, everyone says this game is really difficult, and it's actually really easy, and then other times it's like, oh wow, this game really is as difficult as everyone said it was. Yeah, I actually kind of feel like Chopless is the former. Yeah, gotcha moments. A lot of cheap shots is the main issue. And shellcrackers are weird, because it's like, what is their hurtbox? I don't know what part. Case in point, I don't know what part you're supposed to actually attack. I just try to avoid them most of the time. And again, this is why I don't try to bother with Chaos Emeralds after a certain point, because there's literally, like, no point trying to hang on to rings in this stage, in my opinion, at least the way I play it. Well, shit. Well, we're bound to have one death. Or multiple. Oh, we didn't hit a checkpoint the entire time. My other problem with Sonic 2's soundtrack is it's like... drum hit sound is so, like, overused whenever someone's like, let's try to make something sound like a Genesis. And it's just like a kind of a cheap way, I guess, to evoke that nostalgic sound in a way that, frankly, Sonic games directly overuse. Like, I'm so tired of hearing that, like, that drum hit, because, like, they always use it whenever they're trying to imitate this sound. And then you have, like, Sonic 3 music. You can just say Jun Sonoe, it's okay. I mean, yeah. I'm trying to think of anyone else who has that problem, like, who tries to do Genesis music and misuses Sonic 2, like, snare hit. When certain Genesis-style instrumentation just goes really wrong, it's like... people could get a lot of mileage out of the Genesis sound chip. Okay, where does this go? Okay. Neat. I also feel like this level's just kind of confusing. Like, it can be hard to navigate sometimes. I almost feel like Mario kind of has a oh, Daytona, well, that would... yeah. The crime there aren't more games that sound like Streets of Rage 2? Yeah. I need to play Streets of Rage 2. I've only played Streets of Kamurocho, which is just like the first level. They're on NSO, I have no excuse. I don't like how smooth that gear rotation is. It's like actually throwing me off, because I'm so used to it being like 5 FPS. Bit stiff, yeah. I'm actually not really a beat-em-up person. I don't know if that's surprising given how much I like fighting games, but yeah, I'm really not into beat-em-ups for the most part. I feel like it is a skill issue, I'll fully concede. Like, I just am playing them, like, really badly. I'm rushing in too much. Trying to do too many jump-ins, to be fair. Which, I mean, that also describes my fighting game problems. So yeah, that's kind of a secret if you ever play me in a fighting game is anti-air a lot, because you will probably catch me being reckless. Ow. Well, that sucked. This also sucks, oh my god, we lived. The only beat-em-ups I've actually beaten, like traditional kinds, unsurprisingly, I guess, would be Sailor Moon. Specifically the Genesis version, because it's easier than the SNES games. I legit think, like, Sailor Moon R is, like, really difficult. It's always wild seeing people just fly through that game. But, like, the Genesis one isn't that bad, in my opinion. I've considered adding that into this series. It's not a childhood game of mine, or, like, even a teenager game of mine. But, however, I did get into Sailor Moon as a teen, so it could count. Like, I've thought about including, like, Grief Syndrome of all things, which is like a Madoka Magica fan game. And then, like, a Sailor Moon game to just kind of, like, represent, like, the anime that were also very formative to me. Because obviously I can't just show Madoka Magica on stream, for obvious reasons. That's, like, a way to kind of represent that part of my life, basically. This should be the end, right? No? Still going? Okay. Cool. Right. I forgot how long this level was. Come on. Really bad timing on that. That spring just kind of popped into existence. That's weird. You know, actually for Sonic, I still haven't done the Shadow DLC. I never bought it, because it's like $6 for like a 10-minute level, and I'm like... eh. It looks like a fun level, admittedly. It's just, I don't know. I never felt super inspired to buy the DLC. What else was I going to say about Shadow Generations? I feel like I had something else to add about it. Oh, that's what it is. If I had any gripe with Shadow Generations, now that I've let it settle a bit, it's that there's a lot of downtime mid-level. It's kind of like how Forces has a lot of QTEs. Shadow doesn't have as many QTEs, admittedly, but it does have a lot of like cutscene moments that are unskippable in levels. Like trying to S-rank bosses, it takes a lot longer than it should, just because you have like so many cutscenes mid-fight. And again, many of them are unskippable and will actually count with a timer, which is really fun. And like, obviously the Doom Zones are just kind of like... it's a lot of build-up in the middle of a level, to the point where it's kind of like... yeah, there's downtime, basically, compared to like how other Sonic level design ethos works. It's very different, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I felt a lot in the DLC. The DLC is like, this cutscene is great the first time you see it. But then if you're trying to S-rank it, it's like, I really don't need to see this every time. But like, the level itself is really cool, it's just I wish the cutscenes were skippable. And Frontier's bosses also have that Wyvern. You know, I will never not be bitter about Wyvern, for reasons I've discussed probably multiple times by now, but Wyvern sucks because of the boss rush in the DLC, or the update. Like, I lost so many runs to Wyvern, so like... yeah, I'm always going to hate that boss. Breakthrough at all is amazing though. I'm not gonna... I don't have any like grievances with the music, of course. It's just basically the gameplay that's like, oh my god, this level is ridiculous. And then they overpatched it, I think, to the point where it's like not even a challenge on easy. It's decently challenging on hard still. But even then, I almost wish the original difficulty was left in for those who want it. Not that I would want it, but just, you know, for those who do. Especially in a game that has difficulty options. Like, I feel like they should have given more options. Knight's a fun fight. It's funny how easy it is to beat without the trick that the game literally doesn't teach you until the DLC. Like, the patch added a thing. That's another game I actually been contemplating, is Devil May Cry for a game clearing. I've never beaten the first Devil May Cry, or 2 or 3 for that matter. Part of me almost wants to do 2 on stream, just have it documented. Like, straight up. Part of me almost is considering that. Like, it'd be interesting just to have a full DMC2 playthrough, because who the hell would do that? It's, you know, designed to subject themselves to DMC2. Play DMC2, is the best. I don't know about DMC Devil May Cry though. Might just stick with mainline. I have played 4, which is why I have a soft spot for Nero, oddly more than Dante. So I feel like I'd enjoy 5 a lot, but I feel like if I play 5 first, I'll be spoiled by the quality of life, especially with DMC1. It's like, going back from 1 to 5, or 5 to 1 is gonna suck. So I should play 1 first, is what I've decided. I also just need to stream more days to be able to fit in-game clears in addition to the favorites series. Again, Thursday seems like the best day to add on for streaming. Again, if I do Thursday streams, I'd probably try to start closer to 3, so I can go 3 hours, and end at 6 for reasons, but we'll see on that. Last time it didn't go great just because Pikmin was being a pain. I missed the little, like, tilting animations from Sonic Mania. Like, the plane is very static in this game, which, I mean, it makes sense for the Genesis, but I'm spoiled by the Mania stuff. And yeah, the stage still keeps going. I kind of forget that sometimes. I really don't understand, like, with Sonic specifically, why they don't really acknowledge that, like, yeah, no, this is Sonic's plane. Tails is just usually the one to fly it. Until the Cyclone that, you know, Tails builds himself, but also the Tornado too, but like, it's weird how they keep interchanging these. Like, I don't know if it's just me, like, but it's weird to me how it's like every other game it feels like Tails switches between the 3 planes. I mean, I guess if you have 3 planes, might as well use them. But like, I want to say in Frontiers, they start out in Sonic's plane. I know Sonic's plane is used in Lost World. If Sonic can just run over water, why does he need a plane? That is also fair. But the thing that's weird to me about this is, like, in Lost World, and I think, mostly Lost World, I think, for the bonus stages, they literally have, like, the plane... No, also Unleashed, I think, has this too. The plane transform. Sonic bought the tornado on a whim. Yeah, that would track for Sonic. It's got a really good deal on it. I don't know if I'm... Well, okay, that answers the question of, am I supposed to be here? The answer is a resounding no. Okay. They thought of that. Like, in Unleashed, for example, the Tornado 1 has the attack mode that the Tornado 2 has in Sonic Adventure. So it's like, did Tails retrofit all the planes to be able to do that? Like, it's interesting. Like, from a lore standpoint, that they've never really explained to my knowledge. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if, you know, Tails just upgrades all the planes for fun, but... The Tornado 1 is not the Tornado? Oh, okay. That is news to me. Genuinely had no idea. I thought it was supposed to be the same plane. Tails is, like, as good at naming things as... Tails is going for the Mortal Kombat naming scheme with his planes. If the Tornado 1 is after the Tornado 2, chronologically. Yeah, Unleashed is fun. I have opinions on parts of Unleashed, but for the most part, I actually really like both versions. Again, I'm genuinely excited at some point to give Unleashed a try again for this series, because I want to see how I feel about it, because I've done a couple playthroughs of Unleashed HD since, but I haven't really ever gone back to Unleashed. So yeah, I'm legit curious how I'll end up feeling about it. My take on it is both versions have their own merits. Like, what one version does well, the other version doesn't do well pretty consistently, oddly enough. Except nighttime stages are also kind of rough in both. Like, certain aspects are actually... What the hell? Why are these just floating here? Wanna see a decent frame rate? Unleashed or Unleashed? So I don't know how good of a frame rate Unleashed can have. Actually, an Unleashed decompile would be kind of fun. I don't know why they would do that, but it'd be neat. Yeah, the PS2 version is like 360p or something ridiculously low, I want to say, or maybe 480p. Either way, it's like really low res. Yeah, it doesn't run the best. Like, you don't even have the benefit of control with PS2 because you can use a classic controller, you can use a GameCube controller. So yeah, you really have no real benefit to play PS2 unlike some games, or at least you're dodging motion controls. I remember when I actually did that run of trying to finish Sonic 2 for the first time, I struggled a lot on this boss. Being able to fly his tails is like, you break this fight in half. There's no challenge here. Obviously Supersonic similarly completely trivializes this. Oh, that sucks. There was nothing I could do there. I was as far up against the wall as I could be. Neat. Alright, second try. See how this goes. I'm not feeling as confident about my statement where I'm like, I can probably beat Death Egg Robot in like 5 tries. I was like, I'm not so sure now. I've been playing kind of bad today. We'll see how Sonic 3 goes. I don't know if it'll be next week, again, if this like impromptu, not impromptu, we talked about it before, but if this like secret race I'm currently planning with someone, with Zon, is actually next week, yeah, it might be a bit until we get to Sonic 3. But again, that depends on if it actually happens next week. Alright, drop down, and we're good to go. That's a weird side sprite for Robotnik. I don't think that's used anywhere else in the game. Just casually jumping up and grabbing a rocket like it's no big deal. Sonic 2 kinda goes hard, not gonna lie. Like, plot-wise, it feels like a really big escalation over Sonic 1 in terms of scope. Having little, like, cutscenes like this definitely set the stage for Sonic 3 to have a lot more, like, inner stage, like, in-between stage transitions. I'm not sure if that's rendered properly. But, it's okay. So Death Egg is dumb. You have no rings. I'm gonna do a speedrun trick here. You can actually deal damage like that. As he's like spawning in. Ideally, we won't get to the part where he gets really obnoxious. Where he's like starts shooting stuff. It might be this phase. Nope, not that one. That was a slow fight for me. I think I've done that fight faster before. You get really good at this fight when you have to do it 20 times, because there are no rings, so if you get hit once in this fight, you die. So do we try to go gutsy, or do we play it safe? Because hypothetically, you can't actually hit the body at any time. It's just you have to wait for the claws to be retracted at a certain point, like that. I don't know if you're really encouraged to do that, because what actually is the case is when he lands like this, it bows down, then you shoot his arms out. So yeah, you can deal damage a lot faster, in all fairness, but you have to play a little fast and loose to actually pull that off. Yeah, like, anytime the claws aren't extended fully, you can jump over them and hit him, basically. I shouldn't be doing this. This is stupid. Why am I doing this? Like, I'm not that confident in my skill. Why am I taking these risks? That should be 5. I think. So that'll be 6, I think. This takes 12 hits, by the way. It's one of the tankier bosses in the series. Until Superstars, that is an important classification, or clarification there. Because nothing will out-tank a Superstars boss fight. The funny part is, if you know what you're doing, this fight's actually really easy. It's like scary because you don't have rings, but it's like... It's such a fixed pattern, and it's pretty easy to do. The only hurdle I can see is Knuckles, because he jumps slower. He jumps so low that he might have issues clearing the claws. Oh shit, that was almost bad. This is the boss that gave you trouble when you played Generations last week? Yeah, that's fair. This boss is kind of annoying in Generations because of like hitboxes. Okay, that should be like 8 or something. Yeah, the Rush Adventure bosses, Sonic Rush's fights are pretty miserable also. They have the Superstars problem being like, oh, you have to wait for an attack cycle to finish. So they just kind of take forever. Alright, apparently we have a follower goal, so thank you for all the followers. Again, followers are anonymous. Alright, there we go. First try, let's go. Slow and steady wins the race. That wasn't too bad, actually. Again, the fight's not that bad. The only problem is not having rings. If you could take damage, it would be a lot less dangerous, obviously, but once you know the pattern, it's like, oh... I'm just surprised I still remembered the pattern, to be honest. That's the part that I'm actually like, oh, neat. Cool. Yeah, first try. Let's go. Yeah, thank y'all. Sweet 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 is a very good song. We do not speak of the Sonic 06 version. But I really love the original vocal version of the song. So it's gonna take you 5? Yeah, I want it to be a little bit like, you know... I didn't want to jinx myself entirely, so I was like, let's go with 5. That's the number I can probably meet, you know, fairly reasonably. And yeah, also a case of like, you know, remembering the pattern helped. So again, I definitely took a lot of risks that I should not have taken. So yeah, that's the end of Sonic 2. There's actually a quirk I don't like in Sonic's ending, and I've heard this take a lot. Basically, if you have all the Chaos Emeralds, Super Sonic just flies down. Instead of being, like, the tornado catching him. So a lot of people actually prefer the non-Emerald, all Emeralds version of the ending, for Sonic specifically. Just because you have, like, the camaraderie of Tails rescuing Sonic at the end. It's a small thing, but it's just like, yeah, I kind of agree with that. And also because I could never get the Chaos Emeralds as a kid, nor could I beat the game, period. So yeah, Sonic 2, this is the game I actually have a lot more nostalgia for. This is like, actually a favorite in comparison to Sonic 1, which is like... just part of the trilogy, basically. The lead up to the trilogy. Mark Cerny, wonder what he ended up doing after this. But basically, again, Tails quickly became my favorite Sonic character for the longest time. I really... Super Sonic standing on the wing would probably blow it out. Yeah, that's also fair. But yeah, overall, I have a lot of fun memories. Again, I will fully admit the difficulty spike at the end of the game is ridiculous. Like, I'm not gonna defend that. Like, no way in hell am I defending the difficulty spike at the end of, like, once you get past, like, you know... What's the cave level, Mystic Cave. Yeah, once you get past Mystic Cave, the difficulty spike keeps going up for a while. This version isn't as bad because we have unlimited lives, frankly, but, you know, doing this, like, legit on, like, Genesis would be very difficult. Because you also have slowdown, because of all the... Like, every time one of the starfish enemies, like, fire their spines, and if a lot of them all are happening at once, the game lags really bad. So, like, it's way harder on actual hardware. Someday I should just boot up the... It's on NSO. Someday I should just boot up that version and see if I can beat it on there. Like, without rewinds or save states or anything. See if I can beat Sonic 2 closer to actual Genesis spec than Origins. The mobile port also adds that little cutscene of it careening towards Angel Island, and you also have a small recreation of the Sonic 3 box art with Knuckles hiding in the bush there. A very nice touch, honestly. Though they actually didn't get around to making a mobile version of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. They brought back some of that team to work on 3 and Knuckles for this collection now. This is like the only one that directly ties into anything, because a lot of the other cutscenes are kind of like, you don't need to immediately launch into the next game, in theory, I feel. At least that's just my way of looking at it. And with that, we have reached the end of Sonic 2 again. Definitely a game I enjoy a lot still.